Hi, I'm Matt.
Hey there, I'm Bianca.
And in this video, we're going to do a little bit of arguing about whether it's okay if a couple just comes up to you while you're playing in the playroom and just asks to join in.
Us argue? Keep watching.
So this question comes up a lot, I guess, right?
Yeah. I've actually, in the last, I don't know, however long, it's come up several times.
Okay.
With friends of mine or just women in the lifestyle that have come up to me and asked me about it.
So what have they asked?
Yeah, so a few of them have mentioned that they've been back in a playroom, whether it's at a club or at a big party or whatever, and someone will come up to them, typically a couple, and they'll like sit on the bed next to them, and maybe they'll get a little closer and a little closer, and then maybe they'll try and touch or ask, hey, can we join in, or can I touch you, that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. And the people that I've talked to, mind you, women that I've been talking to, have said that they feel that play should be negotiated outside of the bedroom before you get to the playroom.
Okay.
And so, yeah, that's kind of what they were having a problem with, is that when it's not negotiated out there and you're just coming in and expecting something, it puts you kind of on the spot and in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, but you could say no.
Yeah, but you're already in the middle of stuff. Maybe you got your mouth wrapped around your partner's cock and you're like, it just seems like, I don't know, rude to go in and assume that play with someone you've never had a conversation with.
Oh, never had a conversation with.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, well, that's a factor in itself.
Yeah. Because
it's one thing if you're in the playroom and someone walks up, you've never seen them before, and they suddenly start touching your leg or doing all the things. Yes, there's been no communication whatsoever. But what about if you have talked outside and you're just having conversations? They're acquaintances of yours. I mean, they're not just this total stranger,
right? And
they do this. Is it okay then?
I think that could be totally different. That's a different story.
Is it?
I think so. If I know the person, I'm going to be more comfortable saying yes or no, because I can give an educated answer. Yes, I will play with you because I've met you and I know you and I feel comfortable with you.
All right.
Or no, I'm not interested because I wasn't interested out there and I'm busy right here. So I feel like I have a little bit more educated answer to give, as opposed to if it was just some random person coming up. And I mean, because that's even happened to me at like on, some events and that kind of stuff, where someone will just try to touch me and I move away, and they try again and I move away. And
that's okay though.
No, I'm not okay with it.
So I would tend to think that some people are going to be more comfortable with doing that compared to just, being out in the crowd and saying, hey, would you like to go back and play? That there's kind of this mindset that a lot of people have. It's not about me being right or wrong. It's along the lines of just there are a lot of people who feel this way, in the sense that they are just like, well, Bianca's she's already having this orgasm. She's already enjoying herself. I see her there. They might get a vibe or an eye contact or something that they're thinking, this is kind of our way to kind of step into it.
But I don't think that that's the right way to go about it. Whether it's with me or anybody else, I can still give consent.
Right.
If they're asking first, then I'm able to give consent. Could you think of it as like, is it... Oh my gosh, I'm probably going to piss people off or something because I'm not going to explain this well, but like almost like you're drunk and you can't really give consent when you're drunk, right?
Okay.
You never want to play with someone who's had way too much alcohol or on drugs or whatever, because they may not be able to give you the proper consent. So if I'm already in the middle of stuff with people, I may not be able to give you the proper consent because I'm in the middle of stuff.
Why not?
Does that make sense?
No.
Because you've got all these like hormones and things going and that kind of stuff.
Cause I think that's very different than alcohol, because
I'm not saying it's the same as alcohol. I'm trying to kind of compare.
If you're in horny mode because you just had 3 orgasms and you want some more, then but your brain is still working properly.
Right. And I'm sure there are some people that are perfectly happy having just another random person come into the room.
It happens all the time.
But what about the people that are not?
Well, that's where the fact that you can say no.
But then you're putting them on the spot.
Absolutely. But I have seen, and we have talked to couples who have been like, it's a common practice for a couple to kind of, I say sneak in isn't the right word, but let's say you and I are playing on a bed in a large area, and a couple is standing there watching. which is perfectly okay. We're in a big room. That's generally lifestyle rules. As if you're in a big room like that, you're playing, people are absolutely welcome to watch. So they're watching, and they're watching, and they're at the edge of the bed. I mean, I would have noticed them at this point, because I've got my security eyes on, even though I'm doing things. And then they ask, can we sit on the side of the bed? Mm-hmm. What's your answer to that question? That's a harmless thing.
Right.
You've heard this before. Friends have told you this before.
I know. And I guess I would look around and be like, is there somewhere else to sit? Like, how crowded is this room? Is this the only place where you can sit?
Clearly they want to sit and watch you and I, or you and whoever, have sex. That's why they want to sit on the edge of the bed. Sitting on the edge of the bed it's a line
to touch.
Oh, I agree. But that's the line of, yes, let's say it's a yes. It's a perfectly fine that you're sitting on the. I mean, we're okay with you watching because we're already in here in a big room.
Right.
You gave that consent by being in the big room. If you wanted to be private, you could be in a room with a closed curtain, whatever. Go to your home, whatever, all the things. But if you're in a big room, you're kind of giving that consent for other people to watch, as long as they're not creepy and all the security stuff. That's a side note. But then they say, hey, do we mind if you sit on the bed? And you're okay with that because there isn't touch involved, and they're just. I mean, they've already been watching and it hasn't been an issue. So you, in that situation, you probably would say yes.
Yeah.
Because you
But I know me.
Yeah.
Personally, I would be like, okay, sure.
Uh-huh.
But I would probably now be uncomfortable because what are they going to do next? Is there going to be a next step? Are they going to do something where they try to touch me or try to get in there? Am I going to have to come up with a way to say no and not feel uncomfortable because I'm now vulnerable and naked?
You're not vulnerable because you still have the person that you're with.
No, but you feel vulnerable because you're naked and you're exposed, and you'd feel in a more vulnerable position when you're just naked and exposed and someone's going down on you or whatever.
Okay.
And so I think that I would feel, just them sitting on the edge of the bed, I would personally feel a little bit more uncomfortable because I don't know what is going to, like, how long are they going to sit there until maybe they ask to join in or something, and then I have to figure out how to say no.
Okay, so your assumption is, if I'm understanding you correctly, your assumption is the fact that they want to sit on the bed means that they are going to move, so they're going to try to get a little further and a little further and a little further.
There's a good chance of that.
Okay, all right, so that's your thinking process. So if that's your thinking process, wouldn't it make more sense for you to say no and cut that off at the bud?
Sure.
Would you do that?
I don't know. I don't know. I think it would depend on the situation I'm in. I really do. I've never had anybody ask if they could sit on the edge of the bed. I've been in 2 instances where someone just sat on the edge of the bed. They did ask if they could touch, but I've had times where people didn't ask and they just started
touching, sure. And I would actually tend to think a more common question, instead of can we sit on the edge of the bed, was can we join you?
Right.
That flat out ask.
Absolutely.
That's going to be more common than someone just kind of sneaking in isn't really the right word because they're not doing anything sneaky.
No.
I mean, that you are right that the process is there of we're enjoying ourselves, but because we also don't know what their deal is. And they might be uncomfortable with the whole situation. They might be new, or the husband's bringing the wife around. She's nervous, and it's like, well, we're enjoying the show. Hey, honey, you think it'd be okay if we just sat down here and just watched them? Yeah, sure. And so you have this whole other side of the story that we're not even aware about at all.
Sure.
That they might not be doing that, or they just don't know how to do that. They don't know how to progress things. They don't know how to ask a couple how to go to the back. All of those things are going to be factors.
Right. And if that's the case, maybe they should go to a 101 class.
Yes. So there are 101 classes here, too.
I mean, if you really don't know what you're doing, have a conversation with someone.
Well,
watch some of our videos.
Yeah, right. Well, what would you recommend to a couple like that? That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point. So comment below. I think that any couple that comes in, they have the mindset of sex.
Sure.
Right? That is what they want to do. And you have to have the mindset of, if someone is coming, whether they're going to ask you to join you, or they're going to sit on the edge of the bed and slowly, hey, can I touch your leg? Can I do this? Can I squeeze your boobs? All those things. Those are real questions that people ask. Oh, yeah. And that's totally fine.
I don't think I've ever had anybody ask me if they could squeeze my boobs.
You, probably kiss your boobs. Kiss you, touch your boobs.
But never squeeze.
You did have the guy that honked your boobs.
Yes, but he didn't ask.
He didn't ask. He just did it. No consent for honking. If you're going to honk your boobs, always ask first.
No, yeah.
Will you say no to that?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. All right. So she can say no to something. That's good. You have your line.
I have a line.
That's right. Sitting on the bed, well, I'm not sure about that, but don't hug my boobs.
Yeah. You can sit on the bed, just don't hug my boobs.
All right. So saying no is an important part of the lifestyle.
It is. It's hard to say no to somebody because you want to be kind. You don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right.
You know what it feels like when someone says no to you.
Yeah.
And so I, believe it or not, sometimes work on it in my head.
How do you do that?
If someone says, like, I think about it, like maybe while I'm getting ready. Okay, if someone were to ask me if I would go play with them, I thought of, like, how would I answer them in a way that's honest and kind.
Sure.
And for example, recently we came on a gangbang night. Yeah. And I was not planning on playing with anybody, and especially not like a gangbang, not my thing right now, today.
Tomorrow, maybe.
I was overwhelmed with several people asking me to go to the back and play. Yeah. And so I was thinking about that when another time when I thought, okay, well, if I was in that situation, because I kind of tripped over my words and said, no, thank you, and that kind of stuff. I want to be more like assertive about it. And so I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, I'm not playing because I'm not, like, why am I not playing? And I definitely am the type of person that I need to get to know somebody before I will even consider going to the back with them. Okay. And I think that's, while no is a perfectly acceptable answer, I think that is a good answer as well. Okay. In that I am that person who wants to get to know someone a bit before I go play with them. And that also can release them if they're like, yeah, I don't want to know you. I just want to fuck you. So they can go find someone else that they can just fuck. Or maybe they can have a conversation with me, and maybe it'll get there. Right.
Well, a lot of couples, as you're saying in this situation, don't want to know. Sure. Or they just, it was such a crowded night at Sapphire, they just haven't been able to meet you yet. Yeah. Or meet the other people that they're attracted to that they have lying on the bed there. All right. What should they do at that point? If you were that couple, I know it's hard for you to put yourself in that, okay, but imagine, all right, let's say you got a couple, all right, they're fairly new to the lifestyle, they're watching this right now, they're coming, they are not at that point of making it easy to say, hey, would you like to go play in the back? They're new, they're nervous, they're wandering around the back as what oftentimes couples do as they're finding a bed or something like that, and they see this hot couple that they have not talked to before, all right? Let's say that this couple on the bed, we know them, let's just say they're a couple that's like down to clown with everybody, all right? Okay, so down to clown. Remember, young people are watching this, so I have to talk like a millennial or something.
Oh my gosh, when you see Matt, please make fun of him for saying that.
Thank you. So anyway, so this is a couple on the bed that loves people to join them. They don't want to know. All right. So, because this is also a big part of the people. Not everybody is like you as far as that's concerned. Absolutely. There are people that don't want to know at all. They want to, I don't want to know your name. I just want to meet you in the back room and play. All right. So dealing with that group of people, they're a young couple or they're a couple that's fairly new and they want to join this couple that is going to be okay with that. They don't know this, but they want to try that out. All right. What should they do?
See, I don't know. I still, I understand that there are two sides to this coin. Yeah. But, and we don't wear a big mark on our naked bodies that says, I'm down to clown. You know, maybe those people need to start wearing a little clown nose. You're not going to let this down.
Down to pound.
That would have been better. But I think I still think that it's appropriate and the right way to do it is to approach someone outside of the playroom.
I understand that. All right, well then
if you're so new that you don't know how to ask to play with someone, you need to work on that before you get in the playroom.
I don't agree because there are situations where this is perfectly okay and it's very common. I agree in the sense that yes, that should be what everybody should do in the sense of, you know, connecting beforehand, but there are definitely many times, especially whether it's, you know, an orgy situation, orgy night that they have going on, a lot of people don't want to know they just want to pile the bodies.
But you're all there for orgy night though.
I understand that, but there's still going to be consent things and there's still going to be, is it okay if I touch you, all that kind of stuff. I'm talking about the situation where that would be okay. And I know that is a relatively common thing where this would be okay. The situation I'm saying would be okay. If we're this couple, we don't know how to do this outside. We're already in the back room. We see this hot couple, this couple that we're attracted to. It would be exactly this. It would be, hey, do you mind if we sit on the bed? And if they say yes, great. If they say no, then okay, that's fine. We would continue to watch. We'd move on, whatever it might be, and then it would be that process of, is it okay if I touch you? And they can say no. But it's also when we've talked about this in other videos, it's also the job of the people playing. It's the job of both parties that are playing to be protective of the other one, to make sure that their comfort level is there. I mean, I've been with women that are clearly uncomfortable in the situation where someone does kind of want to join in, and like I look at her and I'm like, are you okay with this? And she might be like, no, and then it's like, okay, no, she's not interested. And that's like my job in that situation, to kind of move things over in the same vein as if you were lying on the bed and you didn't feel that comfortable in that situation. And you were a little, you should be brave enough to say no. But if you're not, it's also kind of the job of the other party that you're playing with to be protective of you, in the sense that they can get this vibe of you like you're not comfortable because you've already made this connection with them because you're having sex with them clearly. Does that make sense?
Kind of. I still don't agree with you. I think the only way in which it would be like an okay way to do it without negotiating outside of the playroom is if you're this couple and someone's playing on the bed and you go in and you say, hey, can we play just next to you?
Yeah, sure.
And then if the couple that's already playing says, well, you can join us if you'd like, that feels different to me. Because they're already naked and they're inviting them in, and this couple now can say, oh, no, we're good. We're just going to be right here. That feels different to me than the one couple the couple that's already having sex getting asked, can we join you? It feels different to me. And I don't know, I could be wrong. So, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. Like, comment below and let me know, like, is it different if you're the couple that's already engaged in sex and then you invite that newer couple in? It feels different to me.
Okay, yeah, no, I think we're just going to agree to disagree, because I agree with what you're saying. I do. I do, but you have to also understand that the lifestyle is such a broad range of types of relationships and how people want to go about playing, that the consent is, we talk about consent all the time, but consent is still, there are kind of things, yes, ask before touching, like those are just givens, okay, at this point. But that doesn't change the fact that everybody's level of what they're accepting of is different.
Right.
And not everyone cares about meeting people out front. There are people, I know a lot of them, and honestly, I would probably be that situation if I'm playing in the back. I have been in that situation where some attractive couple comes up and I'm like, oh, and they say, hey, can we join you? Whether it's join to play, they just flat out ask that, or can we be on the bed next to you or something like that? I always check in with my partner, and if they're down to pound, then yes, then it's absolutely, it's on. And that's so, and
you know what I'm very curious about? Is it more men or women? Like, are more men in your boat and more women in my boat? Like, are we the ones that are a little bit more cautious and more not as okay with that unsolicited invitation?
Wow, that's a good,
because I don't think, I know from people I've talked to, it's mostly been women. I know there have been a couple of guys who have said the same thing, but they're also standing there with their wife. Yeah. So I don't know, or they're newer or whatever. But I'm curious as to whether this is a male-female thing. Now, I do know that there are going to be some women out there that are totally fine with it. Right. And some men out there that are not okay with it. Yeah. But I'm curious what the majority is, because from my point of view, most of the girlfriends that I've talked to, or the women that have come up to me and asked me advice, it's women, 90% of it. Okay, so this is what we want you to do. If you could comment below and put in there, I'm a man and this is how I feel, or I am a woman and this is how I feel, because we really want to see, and we'll actually come back to this in a later video, because clearly there's more to be talked about here,
Before our final thoughts, do you have any questions for us? Maybe a topic idea you'd love for us to address, or just a question you'd love for us to answer. We're going to try to answer all of these questions in future videos.
And if you wouldn't mind, could you do us a huge favor and right now click the like button on your screen? The more people who click the like button, the more people who see our videos, and the more people that we can help get into the lifestyle. And if you got anything valuable out of this video and you want to learn more about the lifestyle, please consider subscribing.
And of course, go to clubsapphire.net and check out all the events that are happening. But this is a really interesting topic to talk about. And it also brings up the conversation of just asking a couple how to go in the back.
Sure.
So we have this video right there, all right, that actually helps to ask a couple how to go in the back. If you need to find out how to do it, what are the good tricks to learn, what you need to do is you need to click on this video right now. Click on it.